Amend the Mass Media Group is California Capital's premier YouTube channel focused on reparations, dedicated to political advocacy and apologetically aimed at shining a spotlight on our righteous justice claim for reparations.
Bizarre incident unfolded on Highway 101 this afternoon. This is near Highway 92 in San Mateo, and it shut down multiple lanes of traffic, as you can see right there. It's not clear what led up to this, but police surrounded a dump truck on the freeway with a man there who'd gotten out. He climbed on top of a pile. It was maybe gravel or asphalt in the back, and for a moment it looked like he was going to give up and surrender, and then it appeared he started throwing whatever was in the back of the truck at the police officers. They moved in and arrested him. He was then taken away on a stretcher.
All right, so man, I'm gonna finish playing the rest of this, and then afterwards you can kind of just just go through and just kind of. I know you already, if I'm correct, you explained kind of like what happened and what transpired getting to the truck. But if you want to do that after we get done with the end of this footage, you can do so. So let's continue.
And I appreciate you, man. And I don't mean to talk over you, so I apologize if you felt like that, but I'm real passionate about this. Like this point, I'm already think I'm a dead man, and how is anyone supposed to react to that? Is just how I feel.
Yeah, no, it's all good. All right, brother, here we go.
Top of a pile, it was maybe gravel.
Okay, so at this point, I mean, I don't, I don't see anything else in terms of like possibly throwing anything. So I don't. We can just kind of continue and then kind of wrap it up, because after this, unfortunately, obviously they pile. So here we go.
Well, yeah, I mean they're advancing right now. But go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, this is kind of is what it is. I mean, it's I don't think we need to just belabor this.
It looked like he was going to give up and surrender, and then it appeared he started throwing whatever was in the back of the truck at the police officers. They moved in and arrested him. He was then taken away on a stretcher.
Okay, so I'm going to go back and I'm just going to replay the whole clip just one time, just all the way through, so there's no pause, and then we can hear your
Can I ask you to also keep your eye on something real quick before we start?
Sure.
Would you mind keeping your eye on that dog? I mean, how can I come down? He's got that dog on one hand. He's ready to let him go any minute, but please continue. But I just want you to keep your eye on that dog this time as much as everything else.
All right, let's go.
Bizarre incident unfolded on Highway 101 this afternoon. This is near Highway 92 in San Mateo, and it shut down multiple lanes of traffic, as you can see right there. It's not clear what led up to this, but police surrounded a dump truck on the freeway with a man there who'd gotten out. He climbed on top of a pile. It was maybe gravel or asphalt in the back, and for a moment it looked like he was going to give up and surrender, and then it appeared he started throwing whatever was in the back of the truck at the police officers. They moved in and arrested him. He was then taken away on a stretcher.
Okay. So yeah, we did see the dog. Um,
And your boy, hey
obviously,
man, I ask you one more thing right there. You got that's the end of the video, pretty much, right? How
yep.
many men are on me? 250 to 300-pound men. Maybe it's a couple of them in there 180, but how many are on me? Plus the guy that jumped off the back and tried to DDT me from the top rope. That's more pressure than the human body can technically handle. And like I said, I just don't know how I made it out of there. But like I said, I'm passionate about this, but please continue, sir.
Okay. So so did you want? I know you wanted to mention, and even though I think we did mention it in the previous interview that we did in person, but if you kind of just want to once again kind of state how you got to this point, just so we have a clear understanding from your perspective.
Well, like I said, I ran out of gas. I mean, ultimately, this is something in a million ways, you know, this is something that ultimately should have been taken care of with $3 worth of gas. Like, it's really gotten under my skin now. But when you really think about it, this is something that should have been handled with $3 worth of gas. I was 5 exits away from home, and 511 usually shows up. It's a California state agency. Caltrans was on the scene. Went and told them, listen, I'm going to get gas, you know. If 511 comes, would you let them know I came? I ultimately did make a mistake of running out of gas. I made a mistake of leaving my wallet in the car. I was careless. And my father says carelessness gets you killed. That's one of his favorite sayings. Carelessness gets you killed. And I was careless. Let's just be honest. That's the truth of the matter. If I would have taken care of the things that I would have taken care of, I would have been okay. At the same time, I feel like I shouldn't have to be perfect all the time. Mm-hmm. Can I make a mistake, without having to, wiggle with my head on a swivel all the time, as I like to say. And so, but like I said, when I came back from running out of gas, I actually used all the training my parents taught me. I said, "Excuse me, sir." And I mean, like a bat out of hell. And let's not forget that I'm the victim here. My comics were stolen, some vintage Black Panther comics. Like, I hate saying that because it sounds like real cliche, nerdy type stuff, but these were actually, it would be like saying I collect stamps and I had a stamp worth $500,000. I mean, that's how serious those comics were. These were the originals with the 15-cent. And I wonder where those comics are now. This is highway robbery. They stole those things from me. Not to mention cell phones, not to mention work equipment, not to mention, like I said, they left out the Louisville Slugger because they probably didn't know what it was. But I mean, they took everything they could, cost me another $7,500 to get my car fixed, just from running out of gas, bailout money, lawyer money. I mean, it all adds up. No one can fight this forever. You can't, but life is a grindstone. It's either going to whittle you down or it's going to polish you up. And, it can't do this can't do anything but polish me.
I have a quick question, Emanuel.
Yes, ma'am, Kim.
Now, how long approximately until you got back to your car from the gas station, and your vehicle was surrounded by police?
That's a great question. I'd say it was probably because first I went out there, and that's how I forgot my wallet. I forgot my wallet because I got outside of the car, and I have AAA. I actually probably should have called AAA. This is a great advertisement for AAA. But I was thinking AAA is going to take 45 minutes, and 511 should be here any minute. And so I didn't. But I stepped outside of the car, and just stood there on the side of the freeway thinking, okay, this might look kind of strange, and probably stayed there for about, I'd say, 3 to 5 minutes before I started thinking, well, it's a lot of people driving by. They're going to think crazy black man on the side of the freeway. I probably should go get some gas. And so I said, well, you know what? I'm just going to walk down and get some gas. So I'd say I walked that exit right there probably would take 10 to 12 minutes to get from where I was located at the beginning of probably a little bit past Highway 92 to get to the next exit, probably a 10 to 12 minute walk to the gas stations that are on that embankment there, that street there, and off the embankment on that street there. Probably a 10 to 12 minute walk, and probably 10 to 12 minutes back. So I'd say I was probably gone about 22 minutes and came back without a gas can, with all due respect. I mean, when I was in the hospital, Kim, and I was heavily, they drug you with the stuff, I didn't have any drugs in my system at all. Toxicology report came back clean. Both you and Umoye saw the video that they have redacted, that they have destroyed the evidence on, and he says I'm on meth. He made this assumption that I'm on meth, and yet my toxicology report is clean as a whistle. Like I said the other day, like my man Blind would say, cleaner than the Board of Health. And so for me to have to, come back in and explain myself, or after you made all these assumptions about me, and then I just, I'm really tired with it. It's been years now, and this is the first time I'm getting to tell my story. But yeah, Kim, I said it was about 20 minutes total to where I could get to the top. And to be honest with you, Kim, when I got to the top of the bridge there, where you walk down the embankment to get back to your car, there was actually an officer at the light stopped, and I tried to flag him down, and he either didn't see me or acted like he didn't see me, but he drove off. So I was looking for help from the officers. And they have cameras of that. They have cameras of all of this. When it was the Jussie Smollett incident, cameras were everywhere. But now there seem to be no cameras except this. But the wise citizen will ask, well, how the hell did he get there? He didn't teleport there. How did he get there? And that's where, the truth lies. Release the camera footage of the initial stop, and this will all go away. And I can't even say initial stop because I wasn't in my car. I was walking back from running out of gas, but the initial encounter with the officer, and like I said before, I saw a lot of great officers that weekend, to be honest with you. And a lot of these officers out here, even though at the moment I was very hysterical, but a lot of these officers are some real officers, and they got heart, because anybody could have got an itchy trigger finger that day, pulled the trigger, blew my brains out, and I'm sure they would have walked free and been good, and it would have been the crazy Negro they killed on the side of the damn freeway. So, it's a catch-22 for me on how far to go with, that I just feel like he initiated all of this. And, I even feel like Love to the point where it's 31 officers out here on here, but only 3 of them have tried to come through and say that in any way this is like a real story. So they know in the police department what it is. The chief may be trying to cover up for his guy, and a couple guys may be trying to lie for their friend, but that's 10% as opposed to, I feel like in 1960 or 1919, it would have been 28 out of 31. It would have been the other way around. So, and I don't say that to say, gradual progress is okay, because I believe in cutting the bullshit and cutting the check and getting us out of every situation that ever looks like this. And that's why I'm going to fight this to the end. I'm going to fight it to the end, because I don't want a young man to ever have to go through this. I don't want, ever again. I want to sue them for so much money that a young black man will never, they wouldn't even think about doing this again, because there's been a precedent set. So I'll land there. I'm sorry to be long-winded, but like I said, I'm a little passionate about it. But Kim, did I answer your question? Okay.
So you said between 12 and 15-minute walk each way to the gas station and
I
back,
say 10 to 12. Yeah, 10 to
and
12.
you had waited for 5 to 10 minutes or so outside the car. So we're talking about half an hour, 40 minutes by the time you got back to your car, and it was surrounded by police.
That I think your depiction is fairly accurate, and I feel like it was less than that. So I'd say
Like
I
30
feel like
minutes tops, it feel like.
the whole encounter took, I feel like about at max 24 minutes. It felt like 20 minutes to me, to be honest with you. But I can see how especially with the 5 minutes sitting outside the car, it could have been 30 to 40 minutes, 30 to 35 minutes, that I got back to my car. I left the car probably for 30, 35 minutes. Yeah, because I waited for 511.
Okay, and you did not have a gas can.
I did not. This is
So
true.
how were you going to transport the gas back to your vehicle?
Well, I was going to buy the gas can from the gas station. However, I left my wallet in the car, had to go back to my car.
All
I'm
right,
sorry?
yeah, that I said yes, that answers my questions.
Okay, yeah. And so, like I said, I was careless, and carelessness gets you killed. But I just don't feel like as a citizen, you should have to be perfect all the time. I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't high on drugs. I wasn't bothering anybody. I was just ran out of gas, walked down to get some gas, and trying to get home, another 5 exits. But yeah, the gas can thing, I think I did want to answer that question for you because, like I said, I was highly drugged in the hospital after they injured my leg. They took me to the hospital. They didn't read me my Miranda rights, but these officers were the first people on the scene questioning me with the guns on their holsters still, getting me to try to say I was on drugs, trying to say this and that. I'm heavily sedated at this point, so that was out of pocket in itself. And also just the intimidation factor, cuffing me to the bed as if I was going to run somewhere with a highly mangled leg. And that's what he said to me. That's exactly what Officer LaRock said to me, actually. He said, well, man, if you'd had a gas can, this never would have happened, and all the paperwork they gave me to sign, I signed UD under duress, if you want to look into that. And to me, I'm just looking at this guy like it definitely would have, it wouldn't have mattered what I walked back with because, you see me as a nigger, you're not just out like your eyes were like fixated on. I felt like he was going to pull the trigger. I dropped to my hands and knees, and I think, that might have been what saved me there, and said, I'm being arrested or detained, but that guy doesn't belong on the force in any way, shape, or fashion, and that's why this has to be on record. That's why I have to run the whole process out.